All right, so we have a GE refrigerator, and the problem that we were having is the bottom tray where we put all our, meats and produce. It was completely freezing up, and no matter what we did, we adjusted the temperature, and our food would just simply freeze. And we noticed in the back that ice was starting to build up. Obviously, that's not normal, and come to find out that there's a fan behind this panel that we need to replace. And when that fan stops working, ice will start to build up and your food will start to freeze in the upper fridge part. Now, this is chock full of ice, and we got to get this defrosted. I'm using a space heater. Probably what would work best is if we had a steamer. A steamer would work best, but in a pinch, we're going to use the space heater and a blow dryer and just let this defrost. Now, I didn't take video up to this point. It's pretty easy to pull out, these drawers and such. But we got up to this point where there's a little coupler here. This is for the LED light for one of these panels. And you just undo this and everything just comes out. And what I found helpful is to have one of these sockets. You're definitely going to need one of these. I believe this is a 1/4 inch, maybe a little less than 1/4. Yeah, you can notice this thing is completely frozen on, and it's going to take a while for this to frost for sure. Now these sides need to be removed. Pretty simple. It's just one screw. You just pop this screw out, and this will slide forward and out, and that's how you remove these. Well, I decided just to go to Menards and go buy a steamer. Matter of fact, they had them on sale for $29. Not bad, especially before 11% rebate. I always wanted one anyways for cleaning like greasy, tools and whatnot. So it gives me a good excuse to buy tools. But I noticed Harbor Freight actually had them on sale too for $25. They're really not that expensive. Well, got this warming up. And, I figured it probably wouldn't hurt. At least put some Ziploc bags around these electronic couplers. I guess better to have it than not to have it. All right, less than 1 minute, and this thing is already off. Nice. Oh yeah, look at all that. Definitely need a steamer to get this fixed. With the steamer, all that broke loose. You can see back there it's just full of ice. And without a steamer, you're going to be waiting a long time. But you can see the fan in here. Kind of show you underneath what this looks like. All right, the fan just slid out of that compartment. There's kind of like a rubber sleeve around this. I'm sure you're going to want to reuse that rubber sleeve, so make sure you don't damage that. Well, it looks like the model numbers match up. At least this ends with 2A3. What do you got here? 2A3, and then 57A611. This one's 13.6 volts, 0.16 amps. Looks like it matches up, and looks like the end of the plugs match. So yeah, I think we're good to go. Got this off Amazon. I think it was shipped for $29. And I'll have a link to this in the video description box below. All right, so this once you get it defrosted enough, you can actually lift this foam piece up a little bit and then out, and you can see how bad this is. I mean, it is just caked with ice. All right, about 5 minutes later, I got it completely defrosted. Zero ice with that steamer. It's definitely a way to go. So there is a drain line right here, and it's not draining this. It's full of water. And I got a feeling that this is even frozen, full of ice. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ram the nozzle of this steamer right down this. Hopefully that can unclog that if it is full of ice. Otherwise, I'm probably going to have to get something to unclog that. So sure enough, there is a drain line right here, if you want to point that out, Amanda. Yeah, and sure enough, it was frozen solid. I just shoved the nozzle of that steamer right down that hole, and it drained in what, a couple seconds, and we could hear the water dumping out on our floor. But there is a little catch pan up back here. It's not much of a catch pan, but here, why don't you move your hand there for a second? You kind of see that catch pan back there. All right, now we are good. This thing is completely empty, and that's exactly what it took. I really think you need a steamer to get this job done, but this is bone dry. Another thing is, these are ultra sharp, so be really careful. They can easily cut you, but there's absolutely no water in this catch pan, at least up here now. All right, before I hook up this new fan, I'm going to hit this with a hair dryer. Just make sure this thing is completely bone dry. I just don't want all this wet water back here getting moldy. Wow, there was still a surprising amount of ice built in these fins, and it took about another 5 minutes with a hair dryer to get that ice completely out and to get this completely bone dry. But I think we're good to go, at least to get the fan installed. All right, so we got the foam insert back in, and you'll notice there's like these two little tabs here, one on each side. They kind of slide in these little grooves right here. They should just slide right back in. All right, got this foam part put back in. Be careful, ours broke in half. It's pretty fragile here in the middle, but nothing a little tinfoil tape can't fix. So there's a bunch of water back there, isn't there?
Yeah.
All right, got everything put back together, and I can physically feel air coming out of this. So I think that's what's happening is when that fan dies, that air shuts off. There's no way to evaporate that water, and then the water just builds up until it turns into ice, and it shuts off these vents, and these vents get shut off. That ice starts building up, and everything down here starts to freeze. So just to give you an idea, at least on the model number that we have, you know, we've had this refrigerator about 8 years. After about 5 years, these lights went dead. I actually have a video showing you how to replace just one of these lights. When your lights dim down, at least in a GE refrigerator, only takes one of them to go bad for all the lights to go bad. So if you have that problem, check out that video in my video area. But yeah, otherwise, if you want some good advice, just don't buy GE appliances. Let's see you guys in the next video.